Welcome everyone to another race with the Everyday Zwifter. Today we're doing the Evo CC Sprint Race Series, and this one's around the Watopia Flat route, which is only a tad over 10 kilometres long. It's a smallish group of competitors, about 25 I think today. We'll see how we go. Looking forward to a good workout. The race has A, B, C's and D's all together, so we'll see how it all settled down. A few people really heading off really strong. I know I'm not going to sit with the A's, they're already off in the distance, and some of the B's will be too strong for me, so I've just got to try and find the right spot for me, and that's what you've got to do when you race as well. Stick to a level you know you can sustain for the whole race. Sometimes it's worth hanging on to a slightly faster group, then you could gap some people behind you, but try and stick with what you know is sustainable. So everyone's just feeling each other out, trying to form groups of likability people. You can see the mix in the list of riders on the side. There's a bit of a bunch of C's and there's A's and D's and B's all together. I have just done a race yesterday as well, so my legs are feeling a little tired. I'm not sure how they are going to hold up for the entire race, so that is why I'm not trying to push real hard to grab that group in front, although I probably should have. I'm just going to ride along with Mr. Martin, I think, and see what comes of that. You can see already there's two in front that are dropping off that group, so if we can catch up to those two, that'll be good. Riding the pure aero bike setup today. Got the Canyon Aeroed frame and the Zip 808 wheels. Not very hilly course today. Looks like we're able to hold the two in front, so a bit of a downhill coming up, might be able to catch up to them going down there. And it's looking like 3 or 4 behind might be able to catch up as well, so that might give us a group of 7 or 8. Love the scenery going underwater here. Big fish tank. Let's fast forward a little bit now. Looks like we're going to catch the group in front down to a second. The guys behind are getting a bit closer. They're at 2 seconds, so it looks like it's all going to come together. And even behind that group, there's an A grader who must be a late start, and he's powering along at 5 watts a kilo. So there's 4 of us. Now we await the arrival of 4 behind, or 3 behind. There goes Mr. A grader. Don't try and keep up with him, you'll blow up. There's 3 more from behind, so we've got a good group of 7 now. Possibly 1 more if B White can make the jump. Seven Ks to go. Going up the hill. People usually put on extra power just to see gap any weaker riders. I didn't put on excessive power at all, but so everyone was taking it relatively easy going up the hill today. So have a look behind. Our A grade friend is just dropping off a second or so. Either they're on a recovery ride or a training run, or not terribly interested in doing high exertions today. Doesn't look like there's going to be anyone in front that we're likely to catch. So this is the group that we're going to ride with and finish with today. Having said that, there is one more rider coming up from behind, S. Dot. Another A grade rider. And here they've just joined our group. I'm wondering, are they going to keep powering through, or it looks like they are. But they're not going too hard, so I'm thinking maybe if I can jump onto their wheel and see how far I can go with that. So power up, jump over the little gap, and see if anyone wants to follow. Good way to test people's legs and their intentions and what they want to do. You can see T. Stevenson is very keen, jumps across. So does Martin. And 3 behind have decided not to at this stage. They're looking at their numbers, looks like they're coming now. So what was a little gap for me, it didn't take a lot of effort because they left it a little longer. They are having to put in a little more work. So it's the story of racing. Small gaps are much easier to close than big gaps. So this is about half race distance now, 5.1 k's to go, 5.2 done, 3 done. That was a mostly flat section. Now we come to a slightly hillier section, even though it is the flat route. Got a 1% uphill false sort of flat, just a bit harder. Everyone's riding nicely, no one's going that much harder than anyone else, so it's fun little ride, like a group workout just at the moment. Best thing to do in a situation like this is just sit in the draft and save your legs. Let someone else cut through the air in front and do that extra work. They're going a little slower than I possibly normally would, that's why I keep finding myself rolling to the front. Quick cheeky look behind to see our A-grader friend has dropped off 3 seconds again. He's still going along all right, so possibly you'll catch back up. Having ridden this part of the course quite a few times, I know there's a little downhill here, then a little uphill, and then a larger downhill. And I thought, oh, decided to test my legs and test the group, and 4Ks to go, see if I can get a gap and ride solo to the finish. So I put out a bit more power. I've done a little bit too much and given the signal by standing up on the pedals there. Should have kept it under 5 watts a kilo. Just cresting the hill. Now I've got a gap of 17, 18 meters, and when you get over the hill first, you get the benefit of the downhill, which is quite substantial, and the gap can open up rather quickly. So all of a sudden now I've got 40 meters on the guys behind, 45, and my power output's not that high anymore, and the gap's over 50 meters now. Very curious to see if this is going to hold or not to the end. 3.4 kilometers to go. So now I'm keeping my eye on the numbers on the side to see if they're increasing their effort or not. They've also hit the downhill, and they are starting to catch a little bit. Still 40 meter gap though. Now they're starting to chase. S-Dot's putting it 4 watts a kilo. The gap's coming down to 30 meters. I don't feel like going any harder. Just keep going and see if I can hold. I'm going to have to think of plan B now. And I think plan B is going to be sit up, conserve energy, and try and regroup for the finish. And I'll get to this point and I'll look ahead and go, oh yes, that's right. If I knew my course better, which is a very important thing to do, I would know that when I get over this bridge and turn right, there's another uphill, and that probably would have been the better spot to go from. That should be the effort hill to get the gap. Anyhow, here they are. They've caught back up to me, and I've just got to try and hang on to this group again and not let them get away. Fortunately, the legs feel not too bad, and I'm able to do that. Knowing when you get to the top of this hill there is another downhill and then a series of rolling hills, and you don't want to let them get ahead of into the downhill because they'll shoot off. So I'm allowing a little gap, but now I'm just going to close that and make sure we ride on as a group. Two Ks to go. I've managed to pick up the aero power up, so that's fantastic. Very good for downhill finish, and sprinting speeds will give me a high speed advantage. As you've seen, 2 people have just used their aero power up, so they must have been looking for a rest. I'm just going to use these rollers to catch up a little bit to these guys, make sure they don't scoot off. And this is a good position to be in. Again, try and stay in the draft. Conserve your energy. Unless you think you can power on, and if you're not a sprinter, and you need to get away. Alright, final kilometre. Time to decide where is the best spot to deploy the aero power up. You keep your eyes on the distance of the riders in front of you and the power numbers on the side to see if they start sprinting. We are getting anticipation now, getting ready to go, and all of a sudden S-back comes up and I go, oh, gotta go. So my numbers are already up. Now I'm sprinting, I'm off 500 meters to go, hit the power up. Now I'm going to get a gap. Go, 500, 600 watts. I'm getting a gap 9 meters, 10 meters. The aero is really helping my top speed. Heading for the line, 200 meters to go, 15 meter gap. Is it possible that I can hold this? It's starting to feel like a big effort now. I'm getting tired, but the gap is holding. Some people behind are getting some red numbers trying to catch up, but they've left it too late. And I have won the sprint for 26th place. Fantastic. Good bit of fun racing, fun riding. Hope you learnt something from it. Thanks for watching. See ya.